Welcome to the Kristi Jones Show. This is your go-to podcast for living life to the fullest. I am a life and empowerment coach, speaker, and business owner in multifamily real estate. I am a woman passionate about helping others build a life that they truly desire. We'll talk about how to make the most out of every day, from setting meaningful goals to embracing the present moment. So join us as we explore the depths of living a life that is full of joy, purpose, and satisfaction. Well, hello, my friend. Welcome back. It's another week and another episode of the Kristi Jones Show, where I love to talk about and share all the things to live your life fully. Last week, I jumped into purpose and what it means to, live your purpose. How do you figure out what that is? That's like a loaded question. Easy question to ask. Sometimes we find it to be a hard one to answer. If you missed out on that episode, please go give it a listen. It's going to tie into a little bit of what I share today. So today I want to talk about how you really manage your mind and how you navigate those waters when all these other people want to chime in on if you've shared what you feel your purpose is right now in life, or how you're choosing to prioritize things in your life right now. Just really the choices that you're making of how you're wanting to build the life. I talk about this all the time, build a life that you really desire. And so when you start to really step into that personal power of owning your own life, of really stepping in and being an active participant and co-creating your path, I believe, with your higher power. When you step into that flow, there's going to be a lot of people on the outside. They're going to have it might stir up some feelings in them. They could very possibly have some opinions about it. And they may feel the need to share their opinions with you on that and share their thoughts on that. I want to give you a little coaching and a little, just some food for thought if you find yourself in that situation. Because, okay, so if you have been thinking about, or you're in that phase of your life right now where you're really stepping into your own sense of being and figuring, and you just are really understanding like who you are, what you're made for, what lights you up, how you want to create your life, what you want your life to look like. And you're actively doing those things right now in your life, right? And so you're really stepping into your fullness and to your potential. And that sometimes aggravates, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but it sometimes aggravates the energy of the people around you. And I just want to let you know, and when I say aggravates, it stirs up something on the inside of sometimes those around you, maybe the people, it could be your friends, it could be family, it could be people you work around. But if you have spoken about, maybe what you dream about, what your purpose is, where you're going, things you're doing, your hopes, your dreams, whatever that might be. And sometimes the person on the receiving side that's listening, that sometimes stirs up things inside of them, has nothing to do with you. That's what I want you to hear. If they come back at you with, it could be some off-color comment, it could be like kind of downplaying whatever it is that you've shared, this desire, this dream, this goal, whatever that is. So if they come back with like, where they're not cheering you on and they're not quite just coming out and punching you in the nose about it, but in a subtle kind of roundabout way, they're just letting you know what they think about it. Well, everyone has the right to share their opinions, but if you're not actively seeking it, that gets a little old after a while, because one, you need to be protective of who you share your hopes and dreams and those big desires. You just know who are your safe harbors, who you can share that with, who you don't want to share that with people that are just going to belittle your dream. You don't have time for that. You do not have time for that. So sometimes when you are moving your life forward in a direction that feels good, that resonates with you, that is what you're desiring to experience in this lifetime, as that happens, sometimes the people around you, I use the word, irritate or aggravate, but it stirs up something inside of them. And a lot of times, I'm going to tell you, they don't even know that that's what is happening. It really depends how self-aware and evolved they are in their own development, if they recognize what's really happening. But you're stirring something up in them, and that causes them to respond to you in a particular kind of way. And so what I want to communicate to you on that subject is the way they respond to you in that moment has nothing to do with you. It is a reflection of them. It is a reflection of where they're at in their life, in their mindset, in their experience. And that doesn't mean that you have to accept it, especially if it's something really, negative, abrasive, like you don't have time for that. Don't have time for that. If you're listening to this podcast, you are a person that is really evolving and on this path to pursue your excellence. So you don't have time for the low vibe, negativity, just don't have time for it. So know when that kind of rears its ugly head and you get that kind of response from someone, be it verbal, be it, nonverbal. When someone is giving you the, yeah, okay. They don't even have to say it. It could be their body language. It could be the little, especially if they're a passive aggressive type of personality, passive aggressive people have their little ways to make their points known. And, it's just, that's where they're at. That is where they're at in life. And you can't make it your mission to change them or to change their mind. So you have to know in your knower that the things that you're doing that you feel good about, that you're evolving and really building the life that you desire, pursuing your purpose, what you feel you need to lean into right now, the things that light you up in your life, that you feel are really purposeful. It feels good. It feels fulfilling. And so if you have people that aren't supporting you in that, or they're downplaying it or kind of making fun of it or just blowing you off or having derogatory little snide or very subtle comments to say, I really want you to block that out. You just don't have time for that. You don't have time for it. And know that don't take it personal, because it's not about you. Their responses have everything to do with them. It's a lot of times how they feel about themselves. And sometimes people that are struggling with their own self-esteem, their own self-worth, struggling with, feeling good about themselves in different aspects of their life, they're if they just are come across as negative or low vibe, I mean, they're struggling with those things with themselves. So that's why they lash out at an easier target, which is someone else. Instead of doing the work on themselves, it's easier for them to, to send that outward. So I just wanted to really bring some peace of mind to you if you have found yourself in that situation, or if you ever find yourself in that situation. Maybe this conversation will come back to you. And know that it has everything to do with where they're at. Doesn't make it right. I'm not saying you have to accept it and just, depending on like the whole severity of it or what's going down, you decide on that. But it doesn't mean you have to accept it. It doesn't mean you don't need to maybe create some new boundaries or create a new framework for that relationship, or decide that, it's probably not a good idea to, share this information with that person anymore, and, lesson learned. So I'm just saying that I don't want you to internalize these little, the way they respond back, because it has everything to do with them. How people show up in a situation, they show up and react based on, most times, how they feel about themselves. And when you're doing that, having a conversation or working through something with someone that doesn't feel good about themselves, that's struggling with their self-worth and their self-confidence, or they're hurting. You've heard the phrase, hurt people hurt people. I mean, it's so true. So true. Healed people heal people, and hurt people hurt people. And although they sometimes aren't intentionally do it, sometimes they are. Sometimes they definitely are. And sometimes they're not. But I just wanted to say that if you are in that space in life where you are leaning into your purpose and you really feel lit up about your life and excited, or you're going, the things that you're doing to build the life that you really, really, really desire, you have every right to be excited about that and to feel passionate about it. And if someone else doesn't share that same passion or interest or, excitement for you, that doesn't have, don't take that personal. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And at best, it gives you an opportunity to then decide, would you want to continue, sharing that type of information with that person, or does that framework of that friendship, does that need to look a little different right now for you? So I hope that makes sense. I know sometimes when we talk about, things to where we are building our lives and talking about things of purpose and passion, that, if we are sharing that with people and we share it with friends and they don't give us the response or the encouragement or the excitement that we were kind of hoping for, then we kind of want to withdraw. We're like, oh, man, yeah, it's kind of stupid for even thinking that was a good idea. Or, man, I guess they obviously don't even think I could do that. Or, whatever the aspiration is, whatever your thought is, whatever your dream is, whatever your goal is. So when they respond like that, just please, 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 please know that it doesn't have anything to do with you. It 100% is just where they're at. And they're just, maybe if that's the response you're getting, that just in a space in their life that they just can't support you in that way. And that's okay, because, you have the ability to have your own back. You have that ability. Now, it takes a team, it takes a tribe, it takes a good support system. But sometimes there's people that kind of flow in and out of your life. And that's okay. That is okay. Everybody can't be on the same page all the time. So, don't have all the really unrealistic expectations that everybody needs to be totally on board, that I, am really leaning into my purpose, or, maybe you're in a new season of your life. Sometimes you see this when people go through breakups, relationship breakups, or divorce, and, they're healing from that, and they're moving forward in their life, and maybe they're, branching out, starting new relationships, starting to date again. I mean, you're excited about it, but there's going to probably be people in your little outer circumference that are going to have some little opinions about it. Don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in that. And know that that's the type of thing I'm talking about. You're excited. You're stepping forward in your life. And sometimes there's just people that they're just not seeing it the way you see it, but they're not living your life. So remember that. Remember that. And you just can't expect them to always, have that same level of excitement that you have about something. So I wanted to come on and kind of deep dive into that, because I feel like we get really caught up in the opinions of others sometimes, and, what other people think and what they say, and that if we don't get the response that we were hoping for, that means, throw your hands up and, well, I guess I'm on the wrong track. No, no, you need to do a gut check, and you need to follow your own intuition. You got to know yourself. You have to know yourself. And it's a process, right? We're all learning ourselves more and more each and every day. So don't let the reactions of others stir you up too much. You have to become like calm water, which leads me to, I think I'm going to do a separate podcast on this topic, but everything that someone says or does not need a reaction or a response from you. It just doesn't. I can think of many situations, and that still happen to me today, like current times. I'm not talking about, in the past. There's still times that someone will say, there'll be a comment made, and I will leave it just at that. It was their comment, and I just sit with it. And it wasn't a question, and I didn't feel the need to respond to the comment. And I just move on. Generally, when I've done that, there's a pause. And I mean, I don't need to respond to the comment. It was just a statement. And until I give it some sort of energy, it basically is neutral, because that was their comment, and they can own that comment. And I'm not going to debate the comment or explain the comment or give my opinion about the comment. That's your comment, and you can hang on to it, and I'm going to go about my day. And has served me well so many times. So know that, you're an active participant in that. And just because someone asks a question, it doesn't mean that it demands an answer. You're in the driver's seat, my friend. Someone asks a question, you don't have to answer every question that every human tosses your way. So you have to look, and it's more about empowering yourself to really stand in your own truth. Own your decisions. Own the direction that you're taking your life. And be proud of it. Be proud of it. You don't need everyone's buy-in. This isn't like a petition that you send out and then everybody sign it to make sure like you agree with it. You agree with the direction I'm going. You like it. You think I'm a good person, blah, 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 blah. It's not a petition. It's your life. You need to be thoughtful. You need to listen to that inner voice inside. I believe for me, I pray, I meditate, I connect to my source, and do my very best to make sure that I'm leaning into my purpose. But I'm not going to send a petition out. I'm not going to ask a bunch of people. And if I want their opinion, I will ask them. So I hope that this message kind of just stirs up your inner strength. Like, we can't go through life being a bunch of weak sticks waiting for everybody to like us and approve us and say, oh, yes, that's a great idea. And oh, you're so smart and la, 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 la. Don't sit around and wait for that. I mean, if you're sitting around waiting on approval, who's handing that out? Like, what? I don't get it. There's not like a stamp that says, okay, you have my permission to make those decisions, and you have my permission to make that move in your life. You don't need anyone's permission. If you're just constantly in that like rinse and repeat, I call it the rinse and repeat cycle of life. A lot of times you just give yourself the permission to move forward. You're not waiting on anyone to do that for you. For me, and I believe that our Creator, that I connect and I pray and I get quiet, and that's in my quiet times and my connection time. I'm making sure that I feel aligned with what I feel led to do in my life. And whatever that looks like for you, I hope you take the time to do that. But when it comes to waiting for humans to approve of you, you're going to be waiting a long, 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 long time for everyone to approve of you. It's just a cycle that humans can definitely fall into very easily. But it is going to be one of frustration for you. And you're always going to feel like, you got to play up to some level of where somebody then says it's okay for you to do this. There's that doesn't exist. You give yourself permission to live the life you want to live. Okay. You give yourself permission to tap into what feels purposeful to you. So I hope that this message has empowered you to really step in to your full being and to not be like waiting for someone's approval and not getting like caught up in the drama or the cycle of people's comments and things that they might say that, that's their thought. Doesn't mean you have to own that thought. I mean, that's their opinion and they can own it. Like, you don't have to agree with what I'm doing. But if you're being kind, I mean, I'm covering all of them. I'm not saying to be hateful and horrible and you guys, if you know me, and maybe you don't know me, so you may be like, gosh, she's just, hardcore on this. But I'm coming from a place of where I'm saying you've already have kindness in your heart. You're trying to do the right thing in your life. Okay. So you can't sit around and wait for everybody to approve you and say, yes, you can do that. And, oh, you're a good person. It's just a vicious circle and a vicious cycle to get into. So you approve of yourself. Okay. You approve of yourself. You empower yourself. You step forward. You step forward. You do that. Don't wait for someone to do that for you. So I really felt compelled to talk about this today after talking about purpose and, leaning into your purpose, because that stirs up a lot of energy in people, and then a lot of emotion. And I just really wanted to bring some framework to that, to your mind, so you don't get caught up in worrying about what others are going to say or how they will react. So that is about them. Okay. And their comments, their reactions has everything to do with them. And most times very little to do with you or the actual thing you're talking about. So continue forward, lean into your purpose, lean into your full potential, and just keep moving forward. And give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to live a lit up life. All right, we're going to live life to the fullest. That's what we're doing right here. All right, I will see you next week on the podcast. Take care.